Man, my mic was off. All right, well, here we are. Try that again. Good morning, good morning, good morning. There's a part of me that really wants to do an ode to Robin Williams and say, good morning, Vietnam, with the most gusto that I can. And I realize that nearly most of you will not even get that. But that's all right. If you haven't seen a good movie, it's a good movie. It might be bad now. You know what's funny is you watch movies, and you're like, dude, that was the best movie ever from your quote unquote youth, and you go watch it again, and you're like, yeah, that wasn't so good, not at all. I would have to say anything with Chris Farley is still really good. Okay, so welcome to Thursday. Excited for you guys to join. I am back home after 2 days, I guess, in Phoenix, and great meetings, 8 stars and above that were invited in to just kind of chat, to, game plan, to kind of clear up some things. I shared those, things with you guys yesterday, I think. I don't remember. Let's be honest. I really am confused sometimes what I share one day to the next. So I'm glad you guys are on top of that. But kind of my thought and plan today was to discuss one of the topics that, kind of came up, and that's, all right, it's my idea, my topic, my thought, but it makes sense to me. So if it makes sense to me, maybe it might make sense to you guys. I don't know. And then asking, as I have kind of shared with you guys, I'm going to be presenting at New Year's kickoff, and I'm going to go through the piece, why network marketing? And one of the things that I'm kind of looking for, so that way I can better understand, better hopefully provide value, connect with, the crowd is, what objections have you guys seen to network marketing in regards to, we can go through the list of great things, but sometimes for someone that, you're trying to help share with them the benefits of network marketing. And to me, those are a lot of the intangible benefits. I think that's something that I'm really decidedly want to focus on, is everything non-financial. And so from that, I kind of want to hear from you guys. So as you're hopping in, as you're joining, as you're watching, thank you. And this is what I'm going to ask you to do to participate today. And today's a participation. If you're watching the replay, excited for you guys to watch the replay, that's great. And again, from a participation point of view, I'd love for you guys to share. And what I'm looking for today, you ready for this? I'm looking for some of the I would say the hesitations, some of the, network marketing. And I'd love to know from you guys, what some of those are, if you've personally felt them. And really, I'd like more personal things that maybe are holding you back from digging a little deeper, holding you back from being more engaged, holding you back from, let me share this. And hopefully this spurs thoughts. I want you guys to, again, when I'm sharing this, I want you guys to engage. It says all these people are joined, and it says the number of people that are watching. And Susie has said good morning. And I appreciate that, Susie. Thank you, Susie, for saying good morning. I hope things in Wisconsin aren't too cold. And Susie's participating. And so good for you, Susie. You get a gold star today. The rest of you, you're just taking up space. So I'd love for you to share. And one of the things that I've heard this, and I've seen this from people, is they're kind of hesitant to buy in. They're hesitant to, get heavily involved. They're hesitant to, really see what network marketing could become, because they have the feeling that it is a quick hit. And in other words, a quick hit, meaning that, business goes up and comes back down. It's one of those, quick businesses. You get quick money and then it's gone and it's over and done with. It's not a long-term sustainable where you can grow and develop and grow and grow. And so because of that, I've seen that, some of the thoughts is, I'm not going to get too far in, because if I get too far in, if I drink too much of the Kool-Aid, and all of a sudden the business starts to, kind of go by the wayside, or maybe this company's out of business, or, it's no longer a thing that, people want to buy. If I don't go in too much, then, I won't, it was just some quick money. I made a couple $1,000s, and, the company fizzled out, and that's what I was there for, as opposed to, man, I'm all in, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to, see it through. And I think back, if those of you that were in, and I appreciate, ladies, that you guys commented, I'm going to get back to those. Keep going. Keep bringing me information. If you're watching and not sharing, then you're just taking up space. And I'm asking you guys to participate. There we go, a few more. And I'm going to get to those. And one of the things that Zach Slobin, if you I think Isagenix has released this on their YouTube, Vimeo. I'm not sure. I don't hold me to that, but Zach Slobin at Celebration, he presented and he talked about being committed. And it's kind of like, you're in or you're not. And, there's one of my professors in college, he would say, you're either pregnant or you're not. It's kind of, there's no in between. There's no like, maybe you're pregnant or you're not. And so that's where I think, from a standpoint of, in any business, I don't care if it's network marketing. I don't care if it's, I see Sherry mentioned something about real estate. I don't care if it's, owning your own business. I don't care if it's a job. You're working for somebody else. I know from experience that if you're not invested, if you're not all in, dude, you're never going to see results. It's kind of like the person that goes to the gym and they're like, I'm just trying it out. I'm just seeing if this works. And in reality is, it's never going to work until you're like, all right, if people laugh at me, think about this like a workout. And you go to work out. I don't know if you guys have ever done this. We used to own a gym, so I saw this some. And if you've ever gone to a workout and they're doing some like crazy looking stuff, we used to have these things, it's called like an ab core workout, and they were called baby pushers. And I'll let your imagination flow, as there's a lot of women on here. Just imagine what that might look like. And I can remember walking in one time and I saw everyone do it. And I'm like, man, if people only knew what they looked like. And that's the thing. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're all in and commit to it, you're going to see some type of results. I think back my nutrition days, and, I could go, look for a new client. I could do all those things and it would blow me away. Sometimes you go and you're like, they're doing everything wrong, but it's working. And one of the things that I learned is consistently bad, crazy as it is, can yield results. Inconsistently bad is a train wreck. And, I think about that from a commitment point of view. I think about that from a, if you just don't give a rip, how much more freedom and success you can have. So I appreciate all you. For those of you that may be joining a little bit late, one of the things I'm asking, and there's so many people that are sharing, I love it. It's a lot more fun for me when you guys are sharing and engaged than if I'm just talking to myself. Because I really, be honest, I don't like talking to myself. But I would love for you guys to share why not with network marketing. What hesitations, what concerns, what holdbacks that you're kind of like, I don't know if I want to dive in, drink the Kool-Aid, look weird, whatever. And I'd love to know that stuff. So for those of you just joining, again, I'm asking for that. Participation gets a gold star. If not, you're taking up space. Okay, we got that clear. Saying again, great. Love for you guys to share. And so I'm going to go back here. And Lindsay said fear of public failure. It's kind of, if we're afraid of failing because of people might say, they failed. One thing that I've known from that, and I've learned, and I've talked to people, if you're, this is very, very common, Lindsay. This is something I would say that a lot of people have said is, what if it doesn't work? And then people are going to think like, Well, I think what's funny about that is there's things that don't work all day long. And a lot of it is insecurity when people attack because, they just want to. There's a story, and I learned this from, I've heard this a couple places, but I learned it from John Maxwell the first time, and it's called the crab effect. And so as the story goes, there's these two men that are out going crab fishing, I guess crab hunting, crab fishing, whatever. And they're Cape Cod. And, out there, Atlantic Ocean, Cape, they have a lot of crab. And so these two guys, they're going out crab fishing. One guy's never gone before. And the other guy's a seasoned pro. And he grabs this like wicker basket. So imagine this, big round wicker basket, something where there's a circle and you put a lid on it, and just guess that you're carrying this wicker basket and you put it in there, and that's where you carry the crabs. And it's got like handles on it so you can carry it. And the friend who's never gone crab fishing before, they get out there in the water, and he's like, "Hey dude, where are we going to put the crabs?" He's like, "Oh, in the basket." He goes, "Dude, I'm sorry, you forgot the lid." He goes, "Oh, you don't need one." He's like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "As long as you catch two, they never crawl out. You catch one, it crawls out." He's like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, what happens is when the crabs are in the basket, and when there's more than one in there, if one starts crawling out, the other one will grab it and pull it back in." So he goes, "You could have 100 crab in there. They're not going to crawl out because they just keep pulling themselves down." And so when I think about the fear of public failure, to me, that's a crab effect. And we're letting people in our lives crab us, and they're pulling us down, and they're making us feel shitty. Yeah, I use that word. Oh, whatever. And those are people that you don't want in your business, much less in your life. And, I think that sometimes we can fall into that pattern. I can fall into that pattern. I think about times that I don't want people to get hurt. And so I may kind of like, I don't know, that's such a good idea. When instead I should be applauding and say, what can I do to help you? Instead of saying, I don't know if it's a good idea, it's like, you know what? I may not agree with that, but what can I do to help you? How can I help you succeed? Because that's what I'm going to do in converse to pulling you down. So that's a great one, Lindsay. And I know that holds people back. And I think there's nothing great, nothing great that has happened without the tenacity to get past failure, because everything that was tried probably failed the first time, and if it didn't, had the potential to. So Susie, what if it becomes successful? What if it works and becomes successful? Yeah, there's a lot of that in regards to it's like, oh, yeah, how's this going to change my life? I kind of, got my routine, got my normal. Is there going to be more expected of me? I'm just pretty happy, just kind of going along to go along. And if this thing works, I'm going to have to deal. I'm going to pay more taxes. I'm going to have to maybe, have people help us. I'm going to have to deal with that headache. And it's like, oh my goodness. That's real. And, it's kind of, I've seen that sabotage more people than probably the first one that we just mentioned, fear of failure, because they do just enough. So they're going, okay, that's good. That's just enough. But man, yeah, if I do any more, I'm afraid of what might happen. And yeah, it's tough. Sherry, doing a real job. It's funny when people talk about network marketing, they talk about real estate. To me, the thing there is if you look at most real estate offices, actually, they're very much set up like network marketing. Like Keller Williams is technically a network marketing company. It really is. It is structured, built entirely like a network marketing company. And I think that's where there's two things that I've learned is one of our biggest holdbacks there is when you get a real job, usually they kind of train you, they systemize, they say, well, this is what you do. And like real estate, they've done that. It's kind of like, oh, you go and these are the things you do. And it's kind of socially acceptable. Whereas I think part of the problem that we have in network marketing, especially because there's different companies and there's just different products and different leaders and people jump in and have success that maybe aren't seasoned veterans, maybe like, real estate is, there's not a great system. And so that's a problem to be solved, is having a system, and that is real. Talking about people that are introverted, they don't want to sell. Hey, I'll be honest, the people that are most successful in this business actually can be the ones that are maybe a little bit introverted. I think of Kelly, I think of Lynn Hagedorn, I think of other great success. And what happens is they actually have a ton of trust and influence because they're not always blasting off and saying, I got something to sell you, got something to sell you. So that's something that it can, you feel like they make fun of you and they still think it's a pyramid scheme. So is that I'm asking a question, Jamie, and I'd love for you to get back here. Is that something where you feel that, or you've had people tell you that? Where, one of the things that Kelly, I can remember early on, and it's when our kids were playing T-ball, and she's like, I don't want to be that mom that, when I go to T-ball, when I go to sports, and all the other parents and moms and whatever they're just like, oh, here comes the Isagenix lady. And I think that can hold us back from having some of those conversations need to be held. But it's also, I get that it's kind of the difference in some of the best salespeople never sell. They build trust, they build influence, they build confidence in others that say, hey, you know what, I want what you have. I think that is something that, so Lucas, second guessing, going about sharing. I think that goes back to the, conversation having with Sherry, as far as what's our system, what's our system. And I know for some people that's really scary because they're like, well, I want to do it however I want to do it. And that freedom is great. However, I would guess, in my experience over 8.5 years, is really less than 2% that feel smothered when they say, well, this is the way to do it. And for those 2%, I think, you look at that from a leadership point of view and say, hey, here's an option for you if you need something to kind of get you started. But once you feel comfortable, you have a different idea, then run with it, go with it, try it. And maybe I've tried some of those things, they didn't work. And so that's why we do it this way. But that systemization of, the whole process, I think is really important. And it's been difficult. It's been difficult because of so many different types of people and different products. And the ones that I've seen that have actually been most successful, probably last 18 months, 12 months, are the people that just kind of consistently do the same thing. In other words, they have a system that works for them. Getting people. So pyramid scheme, I'm seeing that again still a lot. And I think that is, if it's one of those things, I think it is hey, we've said this has been in our culture. And so kind of people like, oh, network marketing, isn't that pyramid scheme? And, I think that the thing that's interesting there is, the FTC has worked really hard to attack those. And with a company with 18 years history, they wouldn't be around. And now a new fly-by-night, in other words, a company that popped up yesterday, could it be? Sure. But I know, the fact that the companies that have been around as long as they have, the FTC is pretty vigilant about that. And I think that's where it comes back to. It's like, hey, where it's an issue is when there's money trading and no product. And when you have a product involved, your consumable product, it really goes out the window. And I know that's easy for me to say and kind of experience. I know what you guys are going through. And it's just feeling empowered to have that confidence, say, hey, dude, this company's been around for 18 years. And maybe you don't know it, but the FTC is pretty vigilant. And they'll shut companies down real quick. There's a lot of companies that get shut down, I think, before they ever really get started, because they are, and the FTC is pretty around it. Rachel here. My head isn't in the right space, so I'm not being a product. And so I feel like a hypocrite. Well, I get that. I understand that. I think one of the things that I've kind of understood there is we all live. We all have life. We all have ups and downs. And if it once worked and you were diligent and you're like honest with people and say, hey, you know what, this is, you know what, I'm going through it right now. I'm going through life, but the product works. And I think it's hard being in that when I will be honest, I've seen this with a lot of women that have babies. Body changes all sorts of ways, and lose a lot of confidence in regards to the products. Now, I know people that they started using their products during the pregnancy and they felt amazing compared to previous pregnancies, and they had that amazing experience. But I also know people that, maybe lost 5 to 10 pounds, felt amazing, tons more energy, work out more, and then all of a sudden they have a baby and their body changes again. They're like, oh, this stuff no longer works, because they don't have that comparison to say, oh man, I'm actually better off than if I didn't have this, because my body's so much better. So I get that. And even that's just ebbs and flows in life. That's happened to me. My body isn't the same as what it was 5 years ago. Now, big part of that is just me. How diligent am I? I get home last night. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Worst thing happens is we have a cookie jar, and it's great when there's no cookies in the cookie jar. It doesn't matter what kind of cookies. And I end up having a couple, and then I have a couple more. And I think I ate the entire half of it. And that's my weakness. And I understand that the difference between me dropping another % or 2 body fat, being a little bit leaner, is simply my willpower and my consistency. And so sometimes it can be hard to share, oh yeah, this stuff is great. And yet you're like, oh, dude, I'm chowing down on cookies and whatever it is your thing, because everyone's got their thing. So Darren talks about, the stigma of network marketing, and it's building the relationship and trust with the person. Here's something I'm going to say in that. And I love that, Darren. Thank you for sharing that. I look at this from a standpoint of, I don't care what business you're in. And to me, some of the best things that I've recognized and realized about network marketing is the tactics, the ideas, the thoughts in regards to, how do you build relationships? How do you add value to people? How do you ask questions? Can be the greatest lessons and tools in any business. And it's just being willing to ask questions and being willing to say, hey, I probably don't have a product for you, but I want to learn about you, because maybe you have something that I can learn from. And maybe you know somebody, though, that could use what I have, but I'm willing to invest to build trust in you, that I'm not just trying to quickly sell people. And, it's kind of like the city to city, town to town salespeople that flies in, sells a bunch of products, and then goes. And by the time they figured out that he sold them a bunch of crap, he's already on to the next city. And I think that's the concern and fear that we have. And if you're like, I'm putting down roots here, I'm going to be involved here, and I love my product, but maybe it's not best for you, that's okay. And accepting that and just building that relationship. And I think having that sincerity, having that authenticity and genuineness is really a great tool that just needs to be practiced. So I think Jamie, okay, so some people have made fun or whatever. I think in regards to, just saying that, what, I'm willing to give it a try, and just being willing to say, if you're willing to get past perceptions, what, that's where you can have the greatest return. And so it's kind of looked like, show them, it's just kind of like, if people understood the value of this industry in regards to how it can change lives. I'm not talking about how it sells product for a company, how it can change lives in regards to building confidence, how it can change lives in regards to personal development, how it can change lives in regards to opportunities, how it can change lives into all sorts of things. People would look at network marketing as one of our greatest training industries in the entire American workforce. And I think that's showing them that, and showing them the value of what comes from the community, rather than necessarily, being afraid. And trust me, I will be the first one that has admit, like, I struggled, come to grips with it, understand it. And when I tell people, yeah, I'm a network marketing, I still don't believe, I don't look at myself as like, oh, professional network marketer. I look at it to say, network marketing has given me the opportunities to best play out my skills, my strengths, my passions. And there's no greater industry for that, to where everyone can kind of have success together. Okay. Now, so a lot of kind of comments. Thank you guys. I appreciate all those comments, and keep them coming. As you guys are watching later, as you guys are coming up with things, coming up with ideas, throw them down here. I would love to talk about them more tomorrow. I've kind of taken up a bit of time today, more than what I've used to, which I just love the fact, Natasha, you're speaking in French. I'm sorry. Something about biscuits. And anyways, so thank you. And thank you guys for joining. Appreciate it. Be back here tomorrow. Talk a little bit more about why network marketing. Remember, we got all these new products. December 4th, Peach Mango Cleanse for Life is coming out. Permanent. Yeah, great things coming. I thought I was going to be able to end it before that, but thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you here tomorrow. Mañana.